Bismillahi walhamdulillahi assalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers. Inshallah, today we will start our study of Surah Yusuf. So I will just correct this quickly. So we will start our study of Surah Yusuf today, and we will try our best to cover from ayah number 1 until 34, inshallah. Just like every other class, we will quickly go through the actions from Surah Hud when we completed our study of Surah Hud. So, number one action that we agreed, that we discussed in last class was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't wrong anyone. People and nations wrong themselves. And we went through multiple stories of different nations that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shared with us in order to show how they wronged themselves and how they were eventually punished in this world, and they are being cursed in the hereafter as well. So we need to try our best to follow the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as individuals as well as collectively as nations to be successful in this life and hereafter. The second action was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives respite to zalim, meaning he gives a bit of time to those people who are zalim or who are oppressors. But however, when he seizes him, he never releases him. So once Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala seizes a zalim, then he gets severely punished by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we saw in the stories, different stories of different prophets during that time. So the action that we took for ourselves was that we should not oppress people around us, especially when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us power over them, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can also seize us anytime. And it doesn't mean that we need to be a king or a ruler to have power on people. We can have power on people in terms of, they can serve us, they can be our servants, maids, or people whom we work with from a work standpoint. Action number 3 that we discussed last time was, indeed your Lord is all accomplisher of what he intends. So this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can accomplish anything, the one that he intends. So basically this should be this should give us a lot of faith and motivation to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all the small things or all the large things that we need in life. And we should pray with our heart to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he's the one who can make anything happen. And then we went through another action. Don't be inclined to those who do wrong. We are inclined to people who do wrong mainly in two situations. Number one is when we fear them to cause us harm if we don't obey them, like the followers of Pharaoh and his chiefs, that they understood the message from Musa alayhi salam. However, they were really fearful of oppression from them. So when people think that, oh, somebody is too powerful and they can harm us, and then when they don't believe enough in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he'll be the protector, or even if some hardship comes, it will be for a small amount of time. Another situation that people follow those who are cruel or on the wrong path is when we get impressed by them. They become cool for us. They become they become the influencers for us. So we are really excited and we feel like, we are following them. So we start feeling proud of this fact that we are following that person. And last action, but not the least, we have to establish the prayer and be patient, because this is 5 times prayer that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already established for us as a mandatory, as a fundamental of our religion, because good deeds wash away small sins. Every day we commit multiple sins without even knowingly or even knowingly. So we need to continue to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness, and prayer is one of the best forms of asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is 5 times, so we can continuously seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help as well. And when you pray 5 times, you always remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so it also stops you in a way not to commit any sins. And obviously it is a way of asking forgiveness. Now moving forward to the introduction of Surah Yusuf. Before we start, this surah was revealed in Makkah, in the last part, before the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions, they migrated to Medina. It is said to be revealed before that. It has 111 ayahs. The name of the surah Yusuf is coming from Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. And it is said to have been revealed in one single go. So in one single sitting, it came out as a full narration from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a revelation to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this covers the life history of Yusuf alayhi salam incomplete, in full, and in the right chronological order, like from his childhood and then going towards his adulthood and what happened afterwards. So we will see by the end of this surah that we will complete the narration of Yusuf alayhi salam. However, if you see the stories of different other prophets, their stories are being told in parts, in one part of the Holy Quran, and then something else is addressed in another part of the Holy Quran, and something else. However, this story of Yusuf alayhi salam, we will see that the entire story will come and unfold in this surah in front of us, inshaAllah. And one of the most phenomenal things, and this is something that also we should keep in our mind, that Yusuf alayhi salam became the most renowned and respected figure in Egypt, in a country to which he was sold as a slave. So he entered the country as a slave during his childhood. We will go through the story. However, he became really powerful. So it is basically in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala whom he gives power, whom he gives rank. So we should try our best, but then leave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well and pray to him for everything that we need. So this story also gives us this conviction that a person can really rise amongst the ranks if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. And obviously Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had bigger objective for Yusuf alayhi salam, Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, because of he was also a prophet, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted him to lead many people towards the oneness of Allah. So starting with the surah, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir rahmanir rahim, Alif Lam Ra, Tilka Ayatul Kitabil Mubin. So Alif Lam Ra, these are the letters to whom the meaning is only known to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we see these coming in different surahs at the start of different surahs. And although different scholars have different point of views, and people have tried to make some sense of these words, these letters. However, the majority of the Islamic scholars believe that these letters that come at the start of different surahs, the meaning of these are known to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or his Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Wallahu alam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Tilka ayatul kitabil mubin. These are the verses of a clear book. So these are the signs that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sharing that are so clear for the people who ponder over it or who think about it. So this is a very clear book of signs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inna anzalnahu Qur'anan Arabiyyan la'allakum ta'qilun. Indeed, we have sent it down as a Quran in Arabic so that you may understand. Now, this Quran is being revealed to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to the people of Makkah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala definitely revealed it in Arabic language so that the people could understand. And another reason is that if you look at the previous books that were given to Torah, to Musa alayhi salam, or Injil as well, they were in different languages. So Torah was in Hebrew, which was the language of the Jews as well. So here all the stories that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is narrating are narrated in Arabic to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who did not have any source of such stories, who could not have learned these stories from anyone. So this in itself is a fact that this is coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a true revelation to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nahnu naqussu alayka ahsan al-qasasi bima awhayna ilayka hadha al-Quran. We relate to you the best of the narrations in what we have revealed to you out of this Quran. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, and this story of Yusuf alayhi salam is also called ahsan al-qasas, meaning the best of the best stories. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is narrating all the stories we saw in the previous surah, Surah Hud as well, that there were narrations and stories of different prophets that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shared. And there were two reasons we discussed. One was for the believers to have this faith that yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who helps and protects the prophet and the believer. So this gives reassurance to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself as well as his companions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect them. And the second reason of learning these stories and going through these stories is for the mushriks of Makkah to understand what happened to people who did not follow the guidance, what were the severe punishments that were given to them, and also for us as an inspiration of stories so that we also seek guidance from these stories. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here is saying we relate to you, meaning the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the best of the narrations and what we have revealed to you of this Quran. Wa in kunta min qablihi laminal ghafilin. Although you were before it surely among the unaware. So you did not know before these revelations came out to you. You did not have any of this knowledge. Quran was revealed in Arabic, and complete stories were told to tackle both mushriks and Jews and Christians. You will see that already towards the end of the Meccan period, before the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam migrated to Medina, already the Jews and Christians had started to throw in their questions. Already they had started to inquire about Islam. So a lot of the answers, a lot of the stories that we hear were also to answer Jews. So even the story of Yusuf alayhi salam that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is revealing in its entirety in Arabic is also a testimony that this Quran is revealed indeed from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise, Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not have any other source to learn it. So for us as well today, these should be the source of faith, Iman, for all of us on oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as his last prophet. So these are the stories that were obviously relevant and that were important for the time that they were revealed. But this entire Quran, as we know, is until the end of time. So it is also beneficial for us. Moving forward, Isqala Yusufu li abihi ya abati inni ra'aytu ahada ashara kawkabam والشمس والقمر وأيتهم لي ساجدين. So now Yusuf alayhi salam is going to his father Yaqub alayhi salam, and he is telling his dream. So when Yusuf said to his father, "Oh my father, indeed I saw 11 stars and the sun and the moon. I saw them to me prostrating," that they were like in sujood in front of me, they were prostrating in front of me. Now, this is a dream that Yusuf alayhi salam is telling his father Yaqub alayhi salam, who was also a prophet from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, this dream, obviously, because Yusuf alayhi salam himself is a prophet, so this eventually he will become a prophet. So this is not a dream of an ordinary person, and it was not like, and Yaqub alayhi salam understood the importance of this dream as well. So it's not like that he would have shrugged it away and said, no, like we do then when some of our kids, they tell us our dream and we just shrug them away. So it's not like that. It's a very important dream. And just for you guys to know, Yaqub alayhi salam had 12 sons and Yusuf alayhi salam was one of them. So the 11 stars are basically the 11 stars, and the sun and the moon are his 11 brothers, as well as Yaqub alayhi salam, who's eventually accepting his prophethood. So this was the interpretation of the meaning, and obviously Yaqub alayhi salam understood it immediately. So what did he respond to Yusuf alayhi salam? Qala ya bunayyi la taqsus ruyaka ala ikhwatika fayakidu laka kaida. He said, "Oh my son, do not relate your vision, do not tell this dream to your brothers, lest they plan against your plot. If you tell this to your brothers, then I fear that they may create a plot against you, or they may conspire against you. Inna shaytana lil insani aduwwum mubin. Indeed, shaitan is to a man an open enemy." Why did he say this? Because he thought that maybe they will become envious of him, or they become jealous of him, that why all of us, while we are strong, we are big, and we are elder than him, why are we the ones who are prostrating him? And if he's getting the, let's say, prophethood after Yaqub alayhi salam, then why are we not the ones getting it? So they may try to harm Yusuf alayhi salam. So this is something that Yaqub alayhi salam responded when he heard the dream from Yusuf alayhi salam, who was the youngest one of all his elder brothers. So basically, Yaqub alayhi salam warned his son Yusuf alayhi salam against his own brothers, because shaitan is an open enemy of man. Now, I want to discuss this point a little bit, and I want you guys, whatever comes to your mind, please feel free to openly share. What do you think? Why did Yaqub alayhi salam warn Yusuf alayhi salam against his own brothers? They were his own brothers, and obviously, brothers are supposed to take care of each other and everything. Yes, Taha, go ahead.
It's basically because shaitan can change how people think about other people. Like, for example, someone gets a new toy or something, you get jealous. So shaitan is making the fuel for your envy.
Excellent point, Taha. Very good example that you gave us in real time. You're right that Even if you get a toy, if you get something nice, the other person can get jealous and shaitan can put waswasa in their mind. Excellent. Brilliant point. Thank you for sharing. Aziz, go ahead. Your hand is raised.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing that Yaqub alayhi salam warned Yusuf alayhi salam because his brothers could get envious or jealous of him. That why did Allah send down um a dream to him and not us, and why him, and all all things. This is all things that Shaitan would put, which is envy.
The thing is, if you guys remember the story of shaitan himself, he said, why should I even prostrate or do sajda to Adam? Why him and why not me? So this is a trait of shaitan. He gives arrogance in us. And the arrogance, the point of arrogance is that we think of ourselves so highly of ourselves that we are always thinking, why him and not me? Somebody got a great job, why him and not me? And somebody got a great car. So this element of jealousy is a waswasa that is typical of shaitan. And here, exactly as you guys said, Jazakumullah khairan, Aziz and Taha, thank you so much. As you guys said, because shaitan would have put that waswasa in the mind of the brothers, that why Yusuf is being chosen and why not us. So the action that we need to take is that this is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning between brothers. And by the way, they were not ordinary brothers. They were sons of a prophet Yaqub alayhi salam. So imagine the upbringing of Yaqub alayhi salam, the way he would have done and everything else. Despite that, he's fearful that shaitan can influence his sons and the brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam. So who are we in front of that, right? So the action that we should take for ourselves, which is very important, is we should not show off our accomplishments in front of family and friends. I'm not saying that you should hide stuff. I'm not saying that you should become way too skeptical. But sometimes we go a bit overboard. We are saying that, I'm checking in and I'm traveling and I'm going to this hotel and this place and I'm exploring and I'm having this amazing food in the restaurant and I just got promoted and I got a promotion. All of these things that we keep on sharing on social media, we should try to avoid it. And the worst of the form is, as you see in the picture on the left side, the depiction of someone giving charity while taking selfie or telling the world that, I'm such a great person and I'm doing this. This is the worst form of it, of course. So we have to be careful. There is no need, because sometimes there are less privileged people. Someone cannot have nice car as you. Someone cannot even afford a vacation like you. Someone may not be able to afford small things. Even when you go to school, if you get a new bag, someone may not be able to afford that bag. So you have to be careful. Yes, Ahmed, you have raised your hand. Please go ahead. Ahmed, Arham, you have a comment. Please go ahead.
Sir, yes, another point that came to my mind also when Hazrat Yaqub alayhi salam warned his son Yusuf is because, Allah Ta'ala has written in the Quran also that your family can also be a fitna on you. So it's a trial. So often you trust your family more than anybody else. So shaitan tries to, influence you, put waswasa in your mind through your trusted people. So that's also what happened to Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam.
Yes, Jazakallah khairan. Jazakallah. Thank you so much for sharing. Yes, this is a very, very good angle and a very good point, because sometimes the people you trust, they betray your trust as well. And obviously Yusuf alayhi salam, they are his elder brothers. He's trusting them. And look at the foresight of the father as well, Yaqub alayhi salam. I think we should appreciate the foresight. He knows, and he knows his sons. So he's letting Yusuf alayhi salam know that don't mention it to your brothers. He did not try to shrug it under the carpet. He's not saying, no, all my sons are great and all. He did feel something from them as well. And this is a very good point, Jazakallah khairan, that, that people sometimes whom we trust, he's my best friend and he's my brother and he's my family and he's this. You never know. And I'm not saying that we should be skeptical for anyone. The point is that shaitan attacks in the moment of weakness. Let's say somebody is sad. Let's say somebody is stressed. Let's say someone doesn't have anything and they're trying to get something, but they cannot. And while you are showing off, then that moment of weakness, shaitan can influence them. It doesn't mean that they are inherently bad people or they are, or they don't care about you, but they can get under the influence of shaitan, which is why I copied the exact wordings that were mentioned, because shaitan is an open enemy of man, and it is his trait that he is arrogant, and he is jealous, and he was jealous of Adam alayhi salam when he did not want to prostrate because he became arrogant. So I think this is something that we should keep in mind, and do not really over show off the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you. Moving forward. وَكَذَلِكَ يَسْتَبِيكَ رَبُّكَ وَيُعَلِّمُكَ مِنْ تَأْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ وَيُتِمُّ نِعْمَتَهُ عَلَيْكَ وَعَلَى آلِ يَعْقُوبَ كَمَا أَتَمَّهَا عَلَى أَبَوَيْكَ مِنْ قَبْلُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْحَاقَ. Now, Yaqub alayhi salam is continuing, and he is talking to his son, and thus will choose you your Lord, and will teach you of the interpretation of the narratives, and complete his favor on you. And we know that Yusuf alayhi salam had this power of interpreting dreams as well, and it will come in later on as well in his story as he grows up, how he used this favor that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him, and on the family of Yaqub, as he completed it on your forefathers before you, meaning Ibrahim and Ishaq. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, his son was Ishaq alayhi salam, and then Ishaq, Yaqub alayhi salam was the son of Ishaq. So these are the forefathers who were also, so it's a chain of prophethood that is coming. And Yaqub alayhi salam is saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will complete this favor of prophethood to Yusuf alayhi salam. Inna rabbaka alimun hakim. Indeed, your Lord is all knower, all wise. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows to whom give the prophethood, who is the chosen one, who can serve the purpose right, and who is supposed to take the mission forward. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all wise, all knower. However, the brothers may become jealous because they don't have the full context and they don't understand, and they would want it for themselves. Moving forward. لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي يُوسُفَ وَإِخْوَتِهِ آيَاتٌ لِلسَّائِلِينَ. Certainly, there were in Yusuf and his brothers signs for those who ask. So this entire story, there are signs for people who are inquisitive and who want to get more knowledge. إِذْ قَالُوا لَيُوسُفُ وَأَخُوهُ أَحَبُّ إِلَىٰ أَبِينَا مِنَّا وَنَحْنُ أُصْبَةٌ. When they said, now the brothers are asking their father Yaqub alayhi salam, the elder brothers, when they said, surely Yusuf and his brother are more beloved to our father than we, while we are a strong group. So now the elder brothers are having a chat amongst themselves, and they are discussing what to do with Yusuf, because Yusuf alayhi salam was the favorite one of Yaqub alayhi salam, and this anyways made them jealous. And now, I mean, imagine if they would have known of the dream, then what would they have done? So anyways, they were jealous of Yusuf alayhi salam because he was the youngest one, and he was the favorite of Yaqub alayhi salam because of his manners and the way he used to carry himself. So now they are saying that Yusuf and his brother, who is Binyamin, so basically Yusuf alayhi salam and his elder brother Binyamin, these two were from one mother, so from one wife of Yaqub alayhi salam. So they are saying that these two are the favorite, while we are also a group, we are also very strong. Inna abana lafi dhalalim mubin. Indeed, our father surely is in clear error, because he always prefers them and he loves them more. So he is in error. We are the strong ones. We are a strong group. He should also pay attention to us. Niqtulu Yusufa awit rahuhu ardai yakhlu lakum wajhu abikum وَتَكُونُوا مِنْ بَعْدِهِ قَوْمًا صَالِحِينَ. Kill Yusuf or cast him to a land so we will be free. So now they are planning, and they're saying we should either kill Yusuf, our younger brother, or we should send him to a land so that we can be free. For you, the face of your father, and you will be after that a people who are righteous. So now they are talking amongst themselves, and they're saying, if we kill Yusuf or we send him away to a different land, then we will get all the attention of your father, meaning the face of your father, meaning when you've seen when there is a brother, let's say, talking, and another sibling wants to talk to a father and his father, and he's not attentive and he's looking at him, he turns his face towards him. Baba, look at me, So this way, I'm sure those of you who have brothers and siblings, you would understand this. So that way you turn the face, meaning you turn the attention of your father. So here, so they are saying if we cast Yusuf out or we kill him, then we will get the face of your father, meaning his attention, and then we will be righteous after that. So now they're planning a big sin of killing their youngest brother, or casting him away. And then they're also saying after that we'll be righteous and we will be amongst the Salihin because we would have gotten rid of the trouble. Our father will pay attention to us and we will be amongst the good people. Because by the way, we need to understand when shaitan is putting a waswasa in you, he makes it seem very good and the best option in front of you, which is why you tend to do it and which is why they tended to do it. They didn't say that we are the evil brothers and he is the hero. They never think like that. None of the evil people think like, I'm the villain. No, they don't. So shaitan made it so good for them that yes, once we do this, we will get the attention of our father and we will be amongst the righteous people and Salihin. Obviously, they are being deceived by shaitan. قال قائل منهم لا تقتلوا يوسف وألقوه في غيابة الحب يلتقطه بعض السيارة in kuntum fa'ilin. Said a speaker among them, do not kill Yusuf. So one of them who had some soft heart, he said, do not kill Yusuf, but throw him in the bottom of the well. So throw him in a well, and one of the caravan that will come up, they will pick him up. And if you want to really do this thing, so if you want to proceed with this plan, then he said, don't kill him, because it will be a big sin to kill him. Let's do something. We will throw him into a well. And when a caravan is passing and when they want water or something, they will probably pick him up and they will keep him as a slave and carry it with him. Anyways, he's a young boy. He won't be able to find his way back. So now this is the plan that they are thinking. Now they are going, all these elder brothers have this plan finalized and now they are convincing their father and going to their father. قالوا يا أبانا ما لك لا تأمنا على يوسف وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَنَاصِحُونَ. So basically what used to happen is that Yusuf alayhi salam, because he was so young, and Yaqub alayhi salam used to protect him a lot and mostly keep him in front of his eyes. So they said, oh our father, why do you not trust us with Yusuf, while indeed we are for him surely well-wishers? So now they're setting it up in front of Yaqub alayhi salam. Father, please trust us and send Yusuf with us. We are his well-wishers. We are his elder brothers. أرسله معنا غدا يرتع ويلعب وإنا له لحافظون. Send him with us tomorrow to enjoy and play, and indeed for him we surely will be the guardians. He's a young lad, he's now growing up. Let him come with us. We will all play together and he'll play with the big boys. He will also learn how to play. He will become strong and all of these things. So now they're trying to convince their father that send Yusuf with us so that we can take him around and he can play with us and everything else, while having that evil plot of throwing him into the well. قال إني ليحزنني أن تذهبوا به وأخاف أن يأكله الذئب وأنتم عنه غافلون. He said, now the father responded, Yaqub alayhi salam, he said, indeed that it surely saddens me that you will take him, and I fear that a wolf may eat him while you are unaware of him. So Yaqub alayhi salam said that I am fearful that you guys will take him, and while you are playing amongst yourself, he would be left alone, and maybe a wolf or a wild animal can come and eat him, and it will make me really sad of losing Yusuf. So look at their response. قالوا, they said, لَإِنْ أَكَلَهُ الذِّئْبُ وَنَحْنُ أُصْبَةٌ إِنَّا إِذَا لَخَاسِرُونَ. They said, if the wolf eats him while we are a group, we are a strong group, indeed then surely would be losers. So you have to trust us. We are such a big group. We are 11 guys or 10, 11 guys, and we are strong ourselves. So how can it be that a wolf will come and eat him? We will definitely protect him. If you're not able to protect him, then we'll be amongst the losers. So you have to trust us. This is what they're saying. فَلَمَّا ذَهَبُوا بِهِ وَأَجْمَعُوا أَنْ يَجْعَلُوهُ فِي غَيَابَةِ الْحُبِّ. So when they took him and agreed that they will put him to the bottom of the well, وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِ لَتُنَبِّئُنَّهُمْ بِأَمْرِهِمْ هَذَا وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. But we inspired to him, surely you will inform them about this affair while they do not perceive. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a revelation to the young Yusuf alayhi salam while he was in the well, reassuring him that don't worry, you will one day face all your brothers and you will inform them about what they did to you. They do not perceive this. They do not have the understanding. They are thinking that they are getting rid of you. However, one day Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make them meet you again, and they will realize what they had done and how wrong they were. We will see in the same story as we proceed that indeed this will happen. So this was a revelation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put in the heart of Yusuf alayhi salam to reassure him. وَجَاءُوا أَبَاهُمْ عشاء يبكون, and they came to their father early at night weeping. Now they are putting this drama. So now these brothers, they have thrown Yusuf alayhi salam in the well, and they're putting all the drama, crying, oh my God, what happened? And they just came in towards their father Yaqub alayhi salam, who was already skeptical. He had a bad feeling about this. قالوا يا أبانا إنا ذهبنا نستبق وتركنا يوسف عند متاعنا فأكله الذئب. They said, oh our father, indeed we went racing with each other and we left Yusuf with our possessions and a wolf came and ate him. So what the story they made, they said we were having a race, we were running, and obviously Yusuf was young and slow, so we asked him to take care of the possessions. And when we were racing, we went a bit ahead. And then when we came back, we saw that a wolf had ate him. وَمَا أَنْتَ بِمُؤْمِنٍ لَنَا وَلَوْ كُنَّا صَادِقِينَ. But you will not believe us even if we are truthful. But you will not believe us. You are already skeptical and you did not trust us. So now we are telling you a true story that a wolf came and ate him. However, you will not believe us now. وَجَاءُوا عَلَىٰ قَمِيصِهِ بِدَمٍ كَذِبٍ. And they brought upon his shirt with false blood. So what they did is they brought a torn down shirt and put in some false blood on it and tried to show their father, look, this is the evidence. What we are saying is true. So a wolf came and ate him, and this is the remaining of the shirt of Yusuf, and that is blood stained, and and we could not save him. قَالَ بَلْ سَوَّلَتْ لَكُمْ أَنفُسُكُمْ أَمْرًا. And he said, so he responded, Yaqub alayhi salam, no, your souls have enticed you to a matter. So basically, your nafs has overcome you, and what you are saying is not true. Yaqub alayhi salam knew that the story that they are making is not true, and something else has happened. Now look at the beautiful response of Yaqub alayhi salam in this toughest moment. Remember, I want you guys to remember, he was the youngest son, the closest to him, the one whom he loved the most. Yaqub alayhi salam loved Yusuf alayhi salam the most, and the elder brothers are coming back with a blood-stained shirt and saying that he's been eaten by wolves. So definitely Yaqub alayhi salam knows that they're not telling the truth. Plus, he knows that something bad may have happened to him. His response is فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ. He said, so patience is beautiful. وَاللَّهُ الْمُسْتَعَانُ عَلَى مَا تَصِفُونَ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one whom I seek help or sought for help against what you describe. So he immediately led the matter in the hands of whom? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That tough moment, he did not start to scold them, beat them, no, all of you are lying and I'll hang you up here if nobody says to me and nobody tells me the truth and everything else. But what he did was, he said that for me, the best thing right now is to have patience. And I am handing over this entire episode and everything that has happened, this matter, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I will only ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his help against what you are describing. So this is a moment of thinking and action for us. It is very, very important. First of all, he said, patience is beautiful. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our helper. So who will tell me how can this thing also help us in our tough situations? How can patience be beautiful in such a tough moment? Anyone? Any thought from your side? Anything that comes to your mind? How can patience be beautiful, especially in that tough period? Yes, Aziz, please go ahead.
Patience is beautiful.
Sorry, Aziz, your voice is breaking. Aziz?
Oh, sorry, I think I muted myself by accident. Okay, so patience is beautiful. I think it's beautiful to Allah, and it's beautiful to Allah, and it's beautiful because when you're patient with yourself, when you're in a hard time, then it's beautiful because it's hard and very few people can achieve it, being patient during a hard time. I think that's why it's beautiful.
Excellent. Jazakallah khairan. Beautiful answer. So you're saying that patience is beautiful, obviously, in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when you are in a tough time, then it can make things easy, and then it can be beautiful. Yes, Ahmed, you have your hand raised. Ahmed and Arham. Go ahead.
Sir, I think so because Allah does everything for a good reason.
Beautiful. Great answer. What a beautiful answer. Jazakallahu khairan. You're right. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does everything for a reason. If we understand this, and if we have sabr and patience, then this is the most beautiful thing that can happen to us. So we will never worry even in any challenging situation. And obviously, I mean, Yaqub alayhi salam would have been sad. He would have been, he would have missed his son. But he's saying patience is beautiful. Taha, yes, your hand is raised. Please go ahead.
Because patience also gives a solution to a problem. Because sometimes when you're in very hard problem, maybe you're facing a lot of difficulty, you just have to be patient. Then you might find a solution.
Excellent. Very good answer. Thank you, Taha. I also see someone answering in chat. I would encourage that you guys speak up because sometimes I'm not really able to look at the chat as well. So Hamis Khan, he mentioned patience is a great thing because indeed there is ease with hardness and the fruit of patience is sweet. Jazakumullahu khairan, all of you, for the beautiful answers that you gave. And I think, yes, so when we understand this point, then for us, the action becomes that we have to adopt this patient mindset of Yaqub alayhi salam, regardless of how severe challenge or calamity hits us. So we will face a lot of challenges in our lives. Our life is full of tests from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And those are the ones who will stay content and they will be able to face these challenges without breaking down are the ones who understand that everything happens for a reason from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we have to have patience in this tough situation. Do whatever you can, of course, in order to alleviate that situation. However, if we understand this point of patience and that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our helper, then a lot of tough challenges of our life can become easy for us. And obviously, momentarily, I mean, you will feel sad, you can also feel angry, you can feel helpless, you can feel whatever, all these feelings come in. But if you channel these negative energies in a way that take you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and sometimes people can think about this, oh, why did this happen? Why to me? Why my son? Why my this? Sometimes people go into that situation, into that negative thinking. It can take you away. And those are the people who are following the waswasa of shaitan. However, those people who believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our helper, and as you guys rightfully said that, everything happens for a reason. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is obviously, he loves us and he's testing our patience. He's putting it into that situation so that we can come out stronger. Then you will realize how beautiful patience is and how it can give you contentment. Jazakumullahu khairan to all of the people who contributed. Moving forward. وَجَاءَتْ سَيَّارَةٌ فَأَرْسَلُوا وَارِدَهُمْ فَأَدْلَى دَلْوَهُ قَالَ يَا بُشْرَى هَذَا غُلَامٌ. And there came a caravan and they sent their water drawer and he let down his bucket. He said, oh, good news, this is a boy. So what happened is there was a caravan that was passing by, and Yusuf alayhi salam was always obviously in that well, and they wanted some water. So they put their bucket down, and when they put it down and they were trying to raise it and look down, they saw that there is a boy, and they were happy because in those times, a lot of people were looking for slaves and it was seen as a point of wealth. So they found a young, beautiful boy. By the way, Yusuf alayhi salam was very beautiful, and I'm sure you guys already know. And we will see a related incidents that will also come in today's class related to his beauty and how handsome he was. So what happened is that one of the guys in that caravan, he said, oh, good news, there is a boy. وَأَسَرُّهُ بِضَاعَةً. And they hid him as a merchandise. So they took him and tried to hide him as a merchandise in order to sell him as a slave. Wallahu alimun bima ya'malun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all knower of what they do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew, and it was part of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's plan unfolding. And if you realize at the start of the introduction of the surah, we said he was sold in Egypt as a slave. However, he emerged as one of the strongest person in that country. So you see now how Yusuf alayhi salam is being taken as a slave by this caravan, and he will be sold. وَشَرَوْهُ بِثَمَنٍ بَخْسٍ دَرَاهِمَ مَعْدُودًا. And they sold him for a price very low and for a few dirhams. So there was an Egyptian Aziz or a chief who bought Yusuf alayhi salam for a very low price because they had nothing to lose. They had found him free and they just sold him at a very low cost. وَكَانُوا فِيهِ مِنَ الزَّاهِدِينَ. And they were about of those keen to give up. So basically they just wanted to get rid of him. So they just said, okay, fine, we found this boy, let's sell him for a low price. And they just wanted to get rid of him. وَقَالَ الَّذِي اشْتَرَاهُ مِن مِصْرَ لِأَمْرَأَتِهِ أَكْرِمِي مَثْوَاهُ أَسَىٰ أَن يَنْفَعَنَا أَوْ نَتَّخِذَهُ وَلَدًا. And said the one who bought him, so this Egyptian of Egypt, to his wife. So this Egypt guy who bought him, he said to his wife, make comfortable his stay, so make him comfortable. Perhaps he will benefit us, or we will take him as a son. So he just said that, we will maybe we can raise him. Let's start taking care of him. Maybe he can be of any benefit to us. وَكَذَلِكَ مَكَّنَّا لِيُوسُفَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. We established the Yusuf in the land. So now Yusuf alayhi salam started to live in Egypt with that chief, with that person, Aziz, who took him, and he started to grow up over there. وَلِنُعَلِّمَهُ مِنْ تَعْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ. We might teach him that the interpretation of the events. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him this skill of interpreting dreams, interpreting events and situations, and he gave him this knowledge to Yusuf alayhi salam, and we'll see how he used it to benefit the entire country of Egypt as well later on. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him this special interpretation and this skill set to analyze the situation as well as to also interpret the dreams. Wallahu ghalibun ala amrihi walakinna aktharan nasi la ya'lamun. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is predominant over his affairs, but most of the people do not know. Now here is a hint to the mushriks of Makkah as well. This entire story is being revealed by the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he's narrating it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken control of all the affairs, the sequence, the way the story is moving even. So when the chiefs of Makkah, the mushriks, those who were not believing, they should realize how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shapes up different situations and eventually helps those who are his believers and his prophets as well. وَلَمَّا بَلَغَا أَشُدَّهُ آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا. And when he reached his maturity, we gave him wisdom and knowledge. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who gave him wisdom. He made him wise. As we read earlier, he could analyze these situations. وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And thus we reward the good doers. He was amongst the muhsineen, Yusuf alayhi salam. وَرَاوَدَتْهُ الَّتِي هُوَ فِي بَيْتِهَا عَنْ نَفْسِهِ وَغَلَّقَتِ الْأَبْوَابَ وَقَالَتْ هَيْتَ لَكَ. And sought to seduce him, she who was in her house from himself, and she closed the doors and she said, come on you. Okay, so basically this is the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. As I said, he was really handsome. So it is said that the wife of the Aziz who took him, as he grew up and he became really handsome and beautiful, so one day she called him and tried to close the door. She wanted to take out that desire with him, the strong desire that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given both men and women. And we also got the mention of the desire for men, the attraction towards females. Some of you are younger, however, some of you who are older, they can understand this. So the wife of that Aziz, what she did was, she called Yusuf alayhi salam at a point in time in her room, and she tried to close the door so that she can fulfill that desire with him and establish that relationship. Although this is a sin, we can only do this with our wives and we need to have proper nikah. This is the right way of Islam. But she tried to commit the sin. And then she asked him to come and fulfill that desire and to establish that relationship. قَالَ مَاذَ اللَّهِ إِنَّهُ رَبِّي أَحْسَنَ مَثْوَايَ. He said, I seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Indeed, he is my Lord who has made good my stay. So he is the one who has brought me to this situation. And even the Aziz obviously used to trust Yusuf alayhi salam. So now he's saying that I seek refuge to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who's the one who will also hold Yusuf alayhi salam from committing this sin. Innahu la yuflihu zalimun. Indeed, the wrongdoers will not succeed. So the evil intention was in the heart of that female who tried to seduce Yusuf alayhi salam towards herself. So he's saying that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I seek refuge in him. Yusuf alayhi salam is trying to find protection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Only he can stop, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can stop Yusuf alayhi salam from not committing, because as we read before as well, the desire is very strong for men as well. So it is very difficult for him to hold back himself as well. وَلَقَدْ هَمَّتْ بِهِ, and certainly she did desire him. So she wanted to establish that relationship with Yusuf alayhi salam. وَهَمَّ بِهَا لَوْلَا أَرَّأَ بُرْهَانَ رَبِّي, and he would have also desired her if not he saw the proof of his Lord. So this is a very important point. Yusuf alayhi salam is a prophet. However, he sought refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to take him out of that situation, because he could have gotten out of control. The desire is also very strong in him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put this strong desire for women in men, and the outlet given for us is nikah, the wedding. We cannot fulfill it with any other woman outside the nikah. It's a sin, it's zina, right? So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is explaining us that he would have also desired her, Yusuf alayhi salam being the prophet. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala held him and showed him a sign so that he could move away and he could hold back himself. كَذَلِكَ لِنَصْرِفَ عَنْهُ السُّوءَ وَالْفَحْشَاءَ, thus we might avert that from him the evil, the immorality, the evil immorality. This sin is very big in Islam, especially, I mean, after the Sharia of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, zina is one of the major sins, gunah kabira, that you can do. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was stopped Yusuf alayhi salam and prevented him and protected him from committing his sin. Otherwise, if he would have not asked refuge or protection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not have shown him the sign, then he could have also committed that crime or committed that grave sin. Innahu min ibadina al-mukhlasin, indeed he was of our slaves sincere. He was a sincere slave who asked for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's protection, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected him. A very important point for us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created men with a strong desire for women. Out of the 5 desires that were listed, and we went through them in our previous lessons, the desire for of men, woman was the number 1, and then there were others like having sons, wealth, and all of the other things that come in the list later on, having cattle, having land, financial things, wealth, and all of these things. Number 1 was woman. Now, Yusuf alayhi salam would have desired her if he didn't see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sign, if he did not ask refuge or protection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala averted immorality from him because he was amongst his sincere slaves. He sincerely asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect him. So this is an action for us. We have to strive hard to protect yourself or ourselves from sins, and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us amongst his sincere slaves. I understand and I know that he was a prophet, and some people can think, he was prophet, so he was saved and all of this. No, this story is being told to us because there is a lot of fitna around us. There are lots of bad pictures of women that come in front of us when we are visiting the internet, or when you're trying to watch something on TV or whatever, or Netflix or whatever. There are pictures that appear in front of you, and if you are old enough, and if you've crossed that age of maturity, you would understand that this is very, very, there is a lot of attraction that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you in looking at that. It is very difficult to turn your face away. In fact, you try to, at sometimes you are, I'm not saying for all of you, but sometimes you see if there's someone who's watching you or not, if where are the parents, and then you can continue watching, maybe not skip or something, or if you're on your mobile, or if you're on your laptop, So there's a very, very strong desire. How can you overcome this desire? The way to overcome this desire, or the way to keep yourself away from dirty content is, and we have discussed it in the past as well, and we have a short video related to that as well. However, the important thing is that we have to first of all strive hard to protect ourselves from sins. But the most important thing is to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to ask his protection, so that we can also be amongst his sincere slaves. We can also be among those people whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls as his sincere slaves. So I hope this action is clear, and it is very, very relevant for us in this life. There are lots of let's say related things related to this evil, grave sin, immorality that comes in front of us, and we have to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for protection from him. So I hope this point is clear. Moving forward. وَاسْتَبَقَ الْبَابَ وَقَدَّتْ قَمِيصَهُ مِنْ دُبُرٍ وَأَلْفَيَا سَيِّدَهَا لَدَى الْبَابِ. Now what is happening in the story continuing? So now she tried to, the wife of the Aziz tried to attract Yusuf alayhi salam. Now he's getting out of this situation, right? So what happened is that he prayed to Allah SWT and he protected. So what he turned around Yusuf alayhi salam and they both raced to the door. So he turned around and he tried to get outside of the door, and his back was in front of that girl, and she also ran after him. And when she tried to grab him, she tore his shirt from the back, and they both found her husband at the door. So what happened is Yusuf alayhi salam tried to run away from her. She started following and tried to grab him. In that effort, she basically tore his shirt. And as soon as the door opened, the woman's husband was in front of them. So she was standing in front of them. The Aziz was standing in front of them. قالت ما جزاء من أراد بأهلك سوءا إلا أن يسجن أو عذاب أليم. Now look at what she said. Now she tried to defend herself because now she saw her husband and she changed the story. So she said, what is the recompense or punishment of who intended for your wife evil except that he be present on for her or given a painful punishment? Now she's saying to her husband, when she saw her husband, that what should be the punishment for someone who's trying to commit a sin with your wife? So he's trying to force his desire upon me. She turned the situation. While she was the one who started, she tried to blame Yusuf alayhi salam and told her husband that he should be punished. قال هي راودتني عن نفسي وشهد شاهد من أهلها. He said, she sought to seduce me about myself. Now Yusuf alayhi salam responded, no, it wasn't me, it was her. She tried to attract me towards her. And then testified a witness of her family. So what happened is that there was an elderly person who was from that female's family, and he gave a solution. What did he say? In kana qamizuhu qudda min qubulin fasfadaqat wa huwa min al-kadhibin. He said, if the shirt is torn from the front, then she is the one who's speaking the truth, and then he is amongst the liars. So what he said is, if the man is trying to force his desire on the female and she's trying to get away from him, his shirt should be torn from the front and not from the back. If his shirt is torn from the front, that means the female or the wife of the Aziz, she's the one who's saying the right thing and he's the one who's lying. However, وَإِن كَانَ قَمِيصُهُ قُدَّ مِن دُبُرٍ فَكَذَبَتْ وَهُوَ مِنَ الصَّادِقِينَ. But if his shirt is torn from the back, that means he was trying to run away and she tried to grab him from the behind. So if his shirt was torn from the back, then she has lied and he's amongst the truthful. And we just read in the previous ayahs that his shirt was indeed torn from the back as she tried to reach him. فَلَمَّا رَأَى قَمِيصَهُ قُدَّ مِن دُبُرٍ قَالَ إِنَّهُ مِن كَيْدِكُنْ. So when he saw his shirt torn from the back, he said, indeed, it was your plot. So the husband, the Aziz, knew that his wife was lying and Yusuf alayhi salam was telling the truth. Inna kaida kunna azim. Indeed, your plot is great and you are the one who's plotting and trying to blame Yusuf alayhi salam. Yusufu ariz an hada. Yusuf turned away from this. So he tried to lower the situation and he asked Yusuf alayhi salam to go and not to talk about it and all of these things, and he tried to elevate the situation because obviously his wife was at fault. Wastaghfiri li zambik, and ask forgiveness for your sin. Now he's heading and telling his wife that you should ask for forgiveness, and he tried to calm down Yusuf alayhi salam and say that forget about it. And he said to his wife that you have to ask forgiveness for your sin. Innaka kunta minal kha'itin. Indeed, you are of the sinful. So he's saying to his wife that you are the one who is sinful in this case. وَقَالَ نِسْوَةٌ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ رَأَةُ الْعَزِيزِ تُرَاوِدُ فَتَاهَا عَنْ نَفْسِهِ. And said the woman in the city, the wife of Aziz is seeking to seduce her slave boy about himself. So now the news got out and the women of the city who were there around, they started talking and conspire, and they started talking amongst themselves. The wife of Aziz, did you heard about it? She tried to seduce the slave, Yusuf, how can she do that? And they tried to talk bad about her behind her back, and all of these things. You know, the gossip started basically. قَدْ شَغَفَهَا حُبًّا. Indeed, he has impassioned her with love. Now they are saying that, you know, look at her. She's overcome by his love and, you know, her desire. And, you know, she is the one who is, she's fully attractive. They started talking all sorts of things. And indeed, by the way, this was the case. We just went through the story. Inna lanaraha fi dhalalim mubin. Indeed, we surely see her in a clear error. So now these women are saying, look at her. She's so evil. She's doing a bad thing. She's attracted to her slave boy and she's trying to, you know, attract him towards her, and she's doing a very bad thing. فَلَمَّا سَمِعَتْ بِمَكْرِهِنَّ أَرْسَلَتْ إِلَيْهِنَّ وَأَعْتَدَتْ لَهُنَّ مُتَّكَأً وَآتَتْ كُلَّ وَاحِدَةٍ مِّنْهُنَّ سِكِّينًا وَقَالَتْ اخْرُجْ عَلَيْهِنَّ. Now, when the wife of the Aziz heard about this scheming and about this talk that was happening, she started to create a scene. And because Yusuf alayhi salam was so handsome, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given him so much beauty and masculine beauty, and, you know, he was so handsome, that she said, okay, fine. The woman think that, you know, I'm the one at fault and I'm feeling attracted to him. So she tried to set up a scene. What she did was, she sent for them and she prepared for them a banquet, and she gave each one of them a knife. So basically she set it up in a large hall. She invited all the females and gave them, let's say, some fruits or vegetables to cut, and gave them knives in their hands. And she said, come out before them. So she asked Yusuf alayhi salam to come and enter the room. That big hall, imagine a lot of females in front of him, and all of them have knives in their hands, and they're trying to cut fruits or vegetables or whatever. And she invited Yusuf alayhi salam to come in. فَلَمَّا رَأَيْنَهُ أَكْبَرْنَهُ وَقَطَّعْنَا أَيْدِيَهُنَّ وَقُلْنَا حَاشَ لِلَّهِ مَا هَذَا بَشَرًا. They saw him, they greatly admired him of his beauty, and because he was so handsome, and they cut their hands. They said, forbid not Allah, is this a man or is this but a noble angel? So now they said that, you know, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbid us. But the guy, I mean, it's a way of expression that, you know. And when they looked at him, Yusuf alayhi salam entering, he was so beautiful, he was so handsome, that all of them cut their hands. They couldn't realize where they are. You know, when you lose focus and you don't understand what you're doing, and when you're, they were actually mesmerized with the beauty and handsomeness of Yusuf alayhi salam. And they actually cut their fingers in disbelief, and because they were not focusing and they did not know what's happening, and they thought that, you know, this is this a man or an angel? Such a beautiful and a perfect man and a handsome man in front of them came, and then, you know, they just couldn't control themselves. قالت فذلكن الذي لمتنني فيه. She said, that is the one you blamed him about me, so it's not my fault. So see, the wife of the Aziz, she's trying to clear herself and say, see, when I desired him, I lost my control, so it wasn't up to me. And he's so handsome, he's so good looking that I couldn't control myself. And now all the women understood why this happened with her. So she just wanted to put her case that, you know, I mean, he's so attractive that I couldn't control, and now you see for yourself. So you cannot blame me about him. وَلَقَدْ رَوَدْتُهُ عَنْ نَفْسِهِ فَاسْتَعْصَمَ. And certainly I sought to seduce him from himself, but he saved himself. So I really tried myself, and she's saying that, yes, I confess that I did feel attractive to him. I tried to seduce him, but he just ran away. وَلَئِن لَمْ يَفْعَلْ مَا آمُرُهُ لَيُسْجَنَنَّ وَلَيَكُونَ مِنَ الصَّاغِرِينَ. And if he does not do what I order him, then surely he will be imprisoned, and certainly he will be amongst those who are disgraced. Now she's still not left Yusuf alayhi salam alone. So now she's saying, if he does not do the sin that I'm asking him to do with me, then I will imprison him, because obviously she was the wife of the Aziz, and, you know, he had that authority. So she said that he will be imprisoned, and, you know, I will if he doesn't do what I'm asking him to do, then he will face the consequences and he will be disgraced. So she's trying to also threaten him. Now look at the response of Yusuf alayhi salam. قَالَ رَبِّ السِّجْنُ أَحَبُّ Ilayya mimma yad'unani ilay. He said, my Lord, the prison is dearer to me than what they invite me to it. So he started praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Yusuf alayhi salam. Oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, put me in imprisonment, send me to jail, but don't make me commit this sin that they're asking me to do. Protect me from this sin that they're asking me to do. And even if it leads to imprisonment, even if it means that I will go to jail, it is better for me. Wa illa tasrif anni kaidahunna asbu ilayhinna wa akum minal jahilin. And unless you turn away from me their plot, I might incline towards them and I would be amongst the ignorant. He is still relying on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, guys, this desire for women is so strong that yes, men can get inclined unless they are protected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should continue to seek protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what Yusuf alayhi salam, himself being a prophet, is also continuously asking that, oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you do not protect me, then I may get inclined and I will be amongst the ignorant people, I will be amongst the sinners. So imagine who are we, and with all the fitna and all these things around us, how can we protect our our gaze, and how we can lower our gaze as well in these times. So we should continue to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his help in this regard. Last ayah for today. فَاسْتَجَابَ لَهُ رَبُّهُ فَصَرَفَ عَنْهُ كَيْدَهُنْ إِنَّهُ هُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. So responded to him his Lord and turned away from him their plot. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected the sanctity and of Yusuf alayhi salam, and he turned away the plot. Innahu huwa samiun alim, and indeed he is all hearer, all knower. And we will learn that indeed Yusuf alayhi salam was imprisoned at the end of it, but then you will see how it led to his rise as well in that place in Egypt. So this is it. But before closing, yes, one last action, and this is very, very important. And who will tell me why Yusuf alayhi salam chose prison over committing a sin? So prison is, by the way, very hard, right? So he was used to of living in that point in time, and he was living with the chief and the Aziz of that time, and he chose imprisonment. Why did he chose to be imprisoned versus committing a sin, that the wife of the chief was asking? Yes, many hand raised. Great. Go ahead, Aziz.
So I think he chose prison over to committing his sin because he could be he could be in a prison for like a few years, but then if he does that sin, he could be in the prison of hellfire forever. So I think it's a smart trade-off.
Brilliant answer, Aziz. Brilliant answer. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us all think like that we don't want to be we don't want to be punished in the hereafter, even if we have to face a challenge in this life. Jazakallah khairan, Aziz. Brilliant answer. Anyone else? I saw Ahmed, Taha also raising their hands. Or was it the same answer? Okay. Clear. So the important thing to understand is that we need to have patience when we face a hardship to save ourselves from sinning. So obviously it is very difficult sometimes to to stop yourself from sin, right? To stop yourself from committing, especially if it is a very strong desire. And this desire for women, when you guys grow up and as you go through your teenage years, this will be the hardest to control and the strongest, which is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us an outlet of nikah and marriage, and we should get married. And this is one of the key things, objectives of also marriage. So what we need to understand is what Aziz just said. Again, Jazakallah khairan, Aziz, for sharing this, that the repercussion of this hardship of it may seem like really tough when you're in that situation. And by the way, we could see Yusuf alayhi salam felt it was tough. In the first time he seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and asked him to protect him. Then later on as well, when they were after him, still he asked refuge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and said, otherwise, I'll be amongst the sinners. So he felt it was a tough situation for him. But as Aziz rightly said, that sometimes when you see a pain or a punishment or a challenge or a hardship in this world, in order to save yourself from a sin, then it is better. Like for example, not just this sin, even if you look at riba or interest, it is very tough to stay away from it, because your wealth grows, and these days wealth can, as they say, money can buy everything, whatever. I mean, there's it can buy everything but not contentment, only the material things. So what we need to realize is that sometimes moving away from a sin seems challenging, seems tough, but you have to make it a choice that you want to save yourself in this world or in the hereafter. And best is that you try to protect yourself in this world, so that you also save yourself from the big punishment of the hereafter. And the right part initially is not easy, but eventually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easy for us, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps those who seek out to him. So whenever you are faced in that situation where it's a very strong thing or a desire that you have to do, or you feel that if you don't do something, then it will be very tough on you. Let's say you are with your friends, and all of the friends, you are going in a car and they're asking to do something, and it is a very tough situation for you. Otherwise, your friends will make fun of you, or even if not make fun of you, they might beat you up or whatever if you don't follow them. Then you have to break free. You don't have to follow that path. And I can cite, and you can even see, there are multiple situations that you face in this life where you will feel that this is a wrong path that I have to do, this is a wrong thing that I have to do, and if I don't do it, then it will be very tough on me. The important point is to understand that even if you have to face a hardship in this life, the important thing is the life of the hereafter, which is never ending. So we have to always stay focused to protect ourselves and not and avoid and punishment of the hereafter from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is a test that comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Yusuf alayhi salam chose the right path, and this should be an inspiration for all of us as Muslims. This entire story is an inspiration for all of us as Muslims, that he chose even for imprisonment versus committing that sin that he was being pulled into. So actions from today's class. Number 1, Prophet stories should be source of faith and Iman for all of us. And they should build our faith on the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There could not have been a way for the Holy Prophet to know these stories in this Arabic that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Quran was revealed in Arabic, and complete stories were told to tackle both the mushriks as well as the Jews and the Christians. So these stories are being told to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in its entirety. And this should also give us faith and Iman that indeed he was the true prophet and the last prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second action that we went through was we should not show off our accomplishments in front of family and friends, especially those who are less privileged. Yes. And because shaitan is with everyone. Yaqub alayhi salam warned his son Yusuf alayhi salam against his own brothers, because shaitan is an open enemy of man, and this is what he said. So shaitan can put in any waswasa to people, and they can harm, or they can get jealous, and then eventually they can harm us, especially the people whom you trust sometimes, because they also have their weak moments. They are also human, and they are always being attacked by shaitan. So you cannot say, no, but this is my best buddy, he will not deceive me. This is my brother. This is whosoever, I trust him the most. You cannot say this, because shaitan is with everyone. Third action, adopt the patient mindset of Yaqub alayhi salam. Imagine what he had to face. His youngest son, the most beloved son, was thrown away, and he saw his shirt torn in blood, and he knew that some harm has happened to him. At that point in time, he said, patience is beautiful. So this is what he said, and he sought help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a beautiful, beautiful lesson and action coming for us. Whenever we face a hardship or a challenge, we should always try to be patient and seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Action number 4 was strive hard to protect yourself from sins and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us amongst his sincere slaves, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that Yusuf alayhi salam was amongst his sincere slaves, and he also sought protection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he was protected from a very strong desire and a very tough situation that he was in, and he was saved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we should also strive hard to protect ourselves from sins. We should also ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help when we are faced in such situation, and we should also say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem and seek refuge from protection from shaitan, because he's constantly whispering us to take us on the wrong path. And last, final action, have patience when you face hardship to save yourself from sinning. Right path is not easy until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easy for us. So it is not easy to follow the right path, and sometimes you have to face hardships and challenges. Yusuf alayhi salam chose prison or imprisonment versus committing a sin, because he knew and he wanted to protect his hereafter, and he did not want to be amongst those people who are ignorant or sinful. So he gave a sacrifice in this life of imprisonment to protect his hereafter. Jazakumullahu khairan. Are there any comments, anything before we close today's class? Nothing. Excellent. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. O Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are pure from imperfection and all praise is due to you. I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship besides you. I seek forgiveness from you and return to you with your full obedience. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers. Inshallah, I will see you same time next week.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.